What if the way you build your startup could also become the way people discover it, trust it, and start paying attention before you've even fully arrived? Building in public turns the messy middle of startup work into a living story that markets the product while you're still figuring it out. At its core, building in public means sharing what you're making as you make it. Not just the polished launch, but the thinking, experiments, roadblocks, and decisions along the way. It creates a loop where you build, share, connect, learn, and grow. Each step feeds the next, and the audience becomes part of the journey instead of showing up at the end. Most founders only show the highlight reel. Building in public shows the draft version, the unfinished screenshot, the question you're still wrestling with. That's what makes it feel real. You're not performing certainty. You're letting people watch the company take shape in real time. So why does this work so well, especially for early-stage founders who don't have a big brand or a giant marketing budget? Because building in public creates three powerful outcomes: trust, people, and clarity. First, people can see how you think. Second, the right people can find you. Third, your own ideas get sharper as you explain them. Those benefits don't show up all at once. They build gradually, then start compounding. And once they compound, your startup stops growing in isolation. It grows in conversation with the community. The first benefit is trust. When people watch you solve real problems in public, they get evidence of how you think, what you care about, and whether you keep showing up. That kind of transparency is hard to fake. A landing page can make claims. A public trail of decisions, updates, and lessons feels earned. Over time, that earns supporters. People start replying, sharing, recommending, and rooting for the mission because they've seen the work behind it. You also build an audience without paying to interrupt strangers. The audience forms organically around repeated proof and honest progress. Instead of renting attention, you're accumulating trust one visible step at a time. The second benefit is attracting the right people. Not everyone. The people who genuinely resonate with the problem you're solving and the way you solve it. A future co-founder might notice how you frame a problem. A user might see a feature discussion and realize you've built exactly what they need. An investor or advisor might follow along for months before reaching out, simply because your public thinking made your direction legible. That's the hidden advantage. You're not just pushing content out. You're creating repeated moments for the right people to self-select in. Consistent public thinking becomes a magnet for aligned relationships. The third benefit is clarity. When you explain your thinking in public, vague ideas have to become concrete enough for someone else to follow. That changes the quality of your decisions. Writing a short update often exposes weak logic, missing assumptions, or questions you hadn't fully answered. What feels messy in your head starts to organize itself once you try to make it legible. And when other people respond, you get feedback that sharpens the next decision even more. So building in public doesn't just create external momentum, it improves internal thinking too. If you want to start smaller than you think. You do not need a full content strategy or a polished personal brand to begin. Pick one platform where the people you want to reach already spend time. Then keep the format simple enough that you'll actually stick with it. Commit to one honest weekly update. One post, one reflection, one snapshot of what's happening inside the company. Share something specific, like a feature you shipped, a customer insight, a decision you changed, or a problem you're still trying to solve. What matters most is that it's real, not polished, not inspirational for the sake of sounding smart. Real. That's how the habit becomes sustainable and how the audience learns to expect honesty from you. A lot more counts as shareable than founders realize. Early metrics, product decisions, customer conversations, failed experiments, and pivots are all valuable material. These moments work because they're specific. They show texture, trade-offs, and movement. That's far more interesting than generic motivation or vague startup wisdom. A post about losing 3 users after a pricing change tells people something real, so it does a note about why you killed a feature or changed your roadmap. Specificity gives people something to react to, learn from, and remember. When the details are real, the content feels alive. You do not need a huge audience for this to work. 10 thoughtful followers who care are more valuable than 10,000 passive impressions. What matters more is consistency and honesty. When people can trust a signal, even a small audience starts to compound. Growth might look slow at first. A few replies, a few shares, a few recurring names in the comments. That's how real community begins. The point isn't looking big, it's becoming known by the right people for something true. Your startup journey doesn't have to stay behind the scenes. It can become the content that builds trust, attracts community, and creates momentum while you're still building. That's the playbook. Build, share, connect, learn, and grow. In the next episode, we'll look at how to turn that momentum into a stronger founder brand. Until then, keep building where people can see it.
Por atrás.